Hey guys, so 4 days ago, I hit 1 year, 365 days of sobriety from alcohol. And I wanted to kind of share a reflection here. I know I haven't been here on YouTube in a while. I also think I might write this down on Substack. So if you want to see it concisely, feel free to check that out. Also, technically, I'm not a full year sober because I quit weed about 335 days ago. So I just wanted to add that caveat. Another caveat is I'm not claiming sobriety as an identity. One of my clients just used this phrase, which I love. I reserve the right to change my mind, right? So this is just my experience being 1 year sober. I want to talk about why I started it and what I've learned and kind of a deeper insight that I have to share about this topic. So in early 2024, I started working with clients for the first time. Technically not the first time. Really the first time I ever started working with clients is I was doing like $25 spiritual chats. But then in early 2024, I kind of put on my big boy pants and I started working with, clients in a high ticket capacity. Okay. And I was teaching creative freedom, creative liberation. I was really in my purpose at that time. Like I was really doing it, really hitting my stride in life, really in a great place. I also happened to have been doing my first extended taste of sobriety from alcohol. Because just a few months prior to working with clients for the first time in this, bigger capacity, I did a meditation teacher training in a Buddhist system. So during that training, I had no intentions of going sober or anything. But I learned that this particular Buddhist community is completely sober. Like the people who have committed to that community, they're completely sober. Many people have even taken vows, these Buddhist vows, where they, commit to never consuming mind-altering substances again. Now, I have opinions about caffeine that I won't get into here, where I basically feel like caffeine is a mind-altering substance, but that's a topic for another video. I just want to wipe off this dust that's on my lens. Okay, so I heard that this community is sober. I was like, I'm in this training. I might as well make it a full immersion. Let me go sober as well during this training, right? So I'm in an aligned community. I'm sober. I'm meditating all the time. I'm really in my purpose. I graduate from that experience, and then I have all this clarity, energy, and spaciousness. And what emerges from that spaciousness and clarity is me stepping quite fully into my purpose and starting to actualize this business, right? And there's a lot I could say about business and entrepreneurship and how it's literally just our inner work turned inside out and shared with the world. But again, maybe a topic for another video. So anyways, maybe not consciously at the time, but now I really see there's an association between the spaciousness created from sobriety, and not just sobriety, but also the meditation and the other things, and the external alignment in my life. Like it seems that the spaciousness from sobriety leads to this aligned actualization of my purpose and me actually, doing the things I want to do, working on the things I want to work on, building my business, etc., serving clients, this sort of thing. So that's late 2023 into early 2024. I also gotta, as I walk, make sure I breathe. I always forget because I get excited talking to you guys. Around the middle of 2024, serving clients in this way was a lot for me energetically. It was new for me. I just made a TikTok about how when we do new things, there's like a wobble, like it's a growth edge, it's new, it's uncomfortable. Well, it was uncomfortable for me, and it was a lot for me to hold, and I couldn't hold it. And I kind of got back into drinking, I got back into smoking weed, and I kind of dropped the whole thing. Like that spaciousness that I had cleared up during the sobriety and the meditation teacher training, it got clouded up again, and I got distracted again. And simultaneously, the business and the progress I made started to kind of crumble to the ground. That ended up being a really rough year for me. Towards the end of that year, 2024, something snapped in my brain, and I was like, oh, I need to like get back to this stuff that really worked. And I committed hard to the meditation. And this is when I actually started what is now a year of sobriety. It was September 2024. And then just, some days later I would quit smoking weed as well. And we're almost at a year of no weed. And then guess what, guys? The same thing is happening with all that spaciousness. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy to let go of the alcohol, to let go of the weed. It's not easy to let go of this clutter, to let go of these crutches, to let go of these external comforts, to let go of these distractions. It's not easy, it's difficult. It forces you to face yourself. It's quite loud here. Right, so I battled many dark nights of the soul, many nights of temptation, but I continuously made it through them because 2024 was so rough for me, like after the business fell apart, that I was like, you know what, I just don't want to go back there. Like, I'm going to do this sobriety thing. I'm going to stick with the meditation. I'm going to stay in alignment, because like, what else am I going to do at this point? Like, I have to go all into this. And so that's what I've been doing. And the more I deepen into that, again, I'm seeing like, oh wow, in this spaciousness, what's arising is this greater creativity, is this higher purpose. I'm again seeing the results in my business. And now that I've grown a year in this process, I'm better able to hold. My vessel is more suited to hold the business that I'm building. Okay, and then I wanted, so that's an important association, right? Like, as we clear away things like weed and alcohol and these distractions, it's really loud. We create space for our true purpose to emerge. And I also want to say, train up there. Across here. I also want to say something about the alcohol and the weed and the sobriety. I can't get a break from this noise here. I'm sorry, guys. There's like trains and trucks on every block. I'm trying to find a peaceful block. One sec. What I've learned and what I've been learning and what I'm continuing to learn this past year of being sober from alcohol is that it's not like alcohol is not the problem. It's a mechanism that's happening in our mind. That's the problem. And we all have to investigate, is this, how and where and when is this mechanism occurring for us? And the mechanism is this: using alcohol, using weed, or using anything external, and there's a lot of things that we can do this with. I'll name some examples. To seek comfort, to seek distraction, to seek escape. Right? So we can do this not only with alcohol, we can do it not only with weed, we can do this with food, we can do this with consuming content, watching TV. We can do this with shopping. We can do this with sex, porn, junk food. There's 100,000 things that we could distract ourselves with and basically seek salvation in. Okay? And if we're making this mistake, we got to be careful, because we might fill our entire lives with this kind of clutter, with this kind of longing for internal comfort that we reach outside of us to try to soothe with things like alcohol, drugs, meaningless interactions, sex, etc. And the dangerous part about this is if we're filling our lives, filling all of this spaciousness with all of these things, there's no room for us to experience truth. There's no room for our purpose to emerge. There's no room for our creativity to emerge. So you can see this pattern with what I experienced in my business. When my life was filled with clutter, there's no room for my truth and my purpose and what I'm here to do on earth to emerge. There's simply no room for it. There's no room for it energetically. There's no room for it mentally. There's no time for it. There's no, even financially, right? Because we can extrapolate this. Like, if you're spending money on things in your life that you think is going to fill this void, then there's no financial space either. And then you have to, there's no clear thinking, and then you're in a job that you don't even like just to fund things that you think you need but you don't even need, right? So we get ensnared into this big problem. And I see that the first step to solving this problem is clearing this space, right? Doing things like sobriety. I've also been on a grand journey of selling off and donating objects and reducing clutter and complication in my life overall, okay? So the sobriety from alcohol was kind of one level of this process of an increasing awareness around what am I seeking outside of myself that I think is going to bring me comfort that's actually just cluttering my life with nonsense. Can I identify those distractions, eliminate them, sit through the uncomfortable spaciousness so that my greater purpose and my higher creativity can emerge? That's what I see is happening. Okay, and sobriety was just one of the dominoes. Meditation has just been one of the dominoes. I've also done practices like 5-day solo retreat. I'll be doing a 10-day solo retreat to back that one up in a few months here. Among other practices that I've been trying. So this is extremely important. These are my reflections on a year of sobriety. And I hope you can see that all of this is connected to creating the life and the business that truly sets you free, right? And I see that helping other people understand this and create this for themselves is my higher purpose right now. And this is what I help my clients and community with. So thanks for listening to this. I hope you found it interesting. You can click the link in my description if you want to learn more. All right, see ya.